Hi guys, as you can tell, I'm in the holiday spirit already. It is actually quite sunny where I am. So guys, why don't we dive into the video for today? Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sayo, and if you're new here, you are very welcome. This is a lifestyle and entertainment channel, and if you haven't subscribed yet, that's if you've been coming and watching all the videos that I've been putting out and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Anyway guys, I'm going straight into the video for today. Today is the first video for the travel series that I talked about that I was going to start, and I'm really excited because, like I said in that video, it is one topic that I'm quite passionate about. And as you can already tell from the title of the video, we're going to be talking about what you need to know before you travel on holiday. I will be talking based on experience from all the places that I've been to and what I have learnt from the cumulative years of my travel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 12 things that you need to consider, or that you need to know, or you need to sort, or you need to check, whatever it is before you go on holiday. So these tips are going to be very useful for you. Once you check all these things off your list, then you know that you're going in for a really good holiday, if that makes sense. So yeah, 12 things, but at the end of the video, I'll be giving a tiny little tip as well as an addition. Without further ado, let's dive into it because I can't wait. Can you wait? I can't wait. I just want to go into it. So number one, I would say plan and plan. Actually, it sounds cliche that I'm telling you to plan for holiday. You're like, well, of course I'm supposed to plan, but I feel like it's necessary for me to mention it and also state a few reasons why I'm deliberately mentioning it for you guys. If not for anything, for the fact that you save a lot of money, a lot of stress, and a lot of energy by planning deliberately well in advance before your holiday. If we're going to go on holiday, for instance, this year in July or in August, then we would have started planning it by December of last year. That's how well in advance we plan our holidays, especially for people that are working, for working class people. It helps you to be able to sort your annual leave days well in advance. So if you are working in an office whereby your colleague is going on holiday, you can't go on holiday at the same period. If you're in that kind of department, then planning in advance helps you a lot, because if you already have your date planned by December, for instance, January comes, and when you resume work, you just go into the office and tender your dates for holidays for them, and it feels like you're way ahead of every other person in the team that wants to go on holiday, so that you have your annual leave booked in. As in, seriously, there's so many benefits of planning well in advance. I'll also be talking about planning on all the other points that I have, so I'm not going to stress much about it for now, but I just wanted to make it the first point that planning in advance is very, very important. Number two is insurance. Now, you want to make sure that you have the right insurance before you travel. I won't dwell on this too much because I'm not an insurance banker or anything, but I think the point I'm trying to dwell on is the fact that it is important for you to have your insurance before you travel, and particularly health insurance and travel insurance. So for instance, you don't want to go to another country and unfortunately encounter health problems. No one is praying for that to happen, but if there's an unfortunate circumstance or unforeseen circumstance and you encounter some sort of health issues, then you don't want to have an extra burden of thinking of how to foot the bill whilst you're in another country. All you need to do is just let them know you have an insurance, and it's almost a seamless process if you have an insurance, and I'm talking from experience, of course. And your travel insurance as well. So if your flight was delayed, if it got cancelled, if you lost the baggage, for instance, you can claim all of that via insurance if you have a proper travel insurance. So it would be nice for you to do your research on what kind of insurances you can have, or the one that's most suitable for you. The most important thing is for you to at least make sure you get one before you travel, because it does work wonders. It helps a lot. Number three is your visa. You need to check whether you've got visas, and if you don't, you need to start making plans in advance to apply for the visa you need for whatever country it is you're going. There's some countries that you wouldn't need visas for, and I would say passport as well. You may not need to apply for your passport until you want to actually travel out of the country. Sometimes the passports take a while for you to get it. Check that your passports are not expired, and check that you have the right visas that you need to go to whatever country it is you're going, and apply for it in time. It's part of the planning if you need to, so that you don't realize that you're going on holiday and the visa is not ready for you. I mean, it's a whole different issue if you encounter this kind of problems. But just make sure that you have the right visas, and you have you have time to be able to apply your visas before you travel. Number 4 is for you to have a budget and save towards it. Now, some people don't work on budgets, and I appreciate that. I understand that some people just spend as at when. That's fine. If that's what works for you, that's fine. But if you do want to have like a really good holiday and you feel like, oh, I can't afford it, then now would be a nice time for you to start planning towards it and start budgeting towards it, if that makes sense. There's so many things you need to put in consideration for your budget, like your feeding, accommodation, flights, spendings, and all of that stuff. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't leave room for spontaneity, because I love me some spontaneity. Like, oh yeah, babes, what are you doing? Let's go to Paris tomorrow. I will pack my bag and I will go. But yeah, if you want to have like a proper, well-planned holiday, then of course you need to budget towards it and start saving little by little, so that eventually when it gets to the time when you have to go, even if the money is not yet complete, and you know that you just have to buffer it up with a little bit here and there, and it's not like you have to take a whole chunk of money from your salary and like that, you won't feel the pain. And again, I'm just stressing that if that is for you, that you feel like you don't have that much money to throw around, then save towards it, and you realize that you can have a really, really good holiday eventually when you've saved towards it and you've planned for it. Number 5 is for you to research and book things in advance. It is very important to do your research and to book things in advance, and I'm going to be talking about this a little bit because it's one of the things that actually has really helped us in the past in all the travelings that we've been doing, and almost all the travelings that we've been doing. So I'm talking about research in the sense of comparing hotels, or comparing booking websites for hotel prices, comparing websites for flight prices, or even if you're taking like a bus or train or whatnot, just doing a research to find the most suitable and most affordable for you is what I'm talking about. It helps you save costs. Yeah, so take for instance, you want to travel in September and you're already thinking about it from January. If you book your ticket for September in, even say call it February or call it March, if you book your ticket for September in March, there is no way that price will be the same as when you book your ticket in August or in September for that September trip. It is always more expensive when you book closer to the time than way in advance. And that's one of the reasons why I was talking about planning in advance in the first place. So if you know that, okay, I want to go to this particular place, then you can already start looking at prices. You can already start booking hotels in advance. And there's some booking websites that help you can actually book 3 or 4 if you can make up your mind just yet, and you don't know how much money you're going to have to be able to afford whatever hotel it is. You can actually book a few hotels in advance and cancel whichever one you decide not to go for. You can cancel them well in time before you travel. Obviously, you have to keep track of your bookings, because if not, they'll carry your money and go. So don't go and be booking things and forget. They will take your money. But yeah, you have to keep track of that. Very, very important for you to research and book in advance. And another point I was going to talk about under researching is reviews. Reading reviews they help a lot. Reviews are very important. There was one place we went to, my husband was telling me this. There was one place we went to that he had read the reviews for the place, and they were talking about this receptionist that was rude. But we still carried our head and went there. and we encountered the same problem. So almost like 90% of the times, most of the reviews are true and they can guide you into making your decisions. So that's why it's good to research on time and then book whatever it is you want. Another thing I was going to mention under booking is like your tourist attractions and all of that stuff. We had a problem, or we had not a problem, I don't want to call it problem. It's not the problem of the word. We had an issue one time where when we went to Amsterdam, there was this particular house. It was a tourist attraction. I can't remember what the name of the house is now. I'll put the name there for you guys to see. It's a popular house in Amsterdam, and we wanted to visit it just to see what it looks like and stuff like that. But we didn't plan that in advance. And then eventually when we got to Amsterdam and I started to look for tickets to buy, the website for booking had to put you on a queue. So they'll tell you you're number 270 something person on the line. So you have to queue up and wait till there's space for you to get on the website to buy a ticket to enter the house. So you can imagine if we had booked that in advance before going to Amsterdam, we'd have had our ticket and we wouldn't have had that problem to start waiting. Eventually we didn't even get to, because I was so tired of waiting, of refreshing website and waiting. I was too tired, so we just fashioned it and decided to see some other things there. But if it's something that is very important, like if it's something that is actually taking you to a town, and you have that kind of bummer, then I bet it can put a dent in the whole holiday experience. So as much as possible, if you can, you want to book your tourist attractions in advance. I know that for people that are quite spontaneous, this might not be one of the things that you would consider, which is okay. It's perfectly fine by you if that's the way you want to go. Under the same topic is researching your tourist attractions, like what is in this town that you want to see, especially if you're going for like a 2 weeks or a 1 week holiday. I'm assuming that you're not traveling to just go and sit down in one place in your hotel. So if that's not the case, then of course you want to try and do a lot of research for the kind of tourist attractions, or what you can do, or what they have in such cities and stuff like that before you go, because that can immensely help you to make a decision towards where you're gonna go. Number 6 is to think of your accommodation. I said it this way, I didn't know how to quite title it. So I just wrote down think of accommodation. I'm going to explain to you very quickly. There are different types of accommodation, but I'm just going to center on 2, which is the Airbnb and the hotel. Okay, I'll do a separate video where I kind of talk about my experiences with Airbnbs and hotels and which one I prefer, or that's going to be a separate video. But for the purpose of this video, what I'm trying to explain, or what I'm trying to advise, is that you think of accommodation in that light, so that you can decide what kind of accommodation you want to go to, if it is an Airbnb or hotel. Some particular places where you travel to, it's just Airbnbs are just suited for that place, and some other places you just want to relax in an hotel and be taken care of. Okay, people help you to clear your room, your bed, your everything. And you have breakfast, lunch and dinner sorted for you, if that's the kind of accommodation, that's the kind of hotel that you booked. So yeah, it will be nice for you to just consider that and think about it in advance. I was going to talk about also, there's something called adult only hotel. Adult only hotels. Where it's just like no kids. Okay, everyone who is lodged into the hotel are like adults and like couples. We've been to one of those kind of hotels before, and it was such an experience. No child running up and down during dinner or lunch or anything. It's just serene. I can't really explain it, and you need to experience it yourself for you to understand what I mean. Just like the difference is clear. Yeah. But with those kind of things, of course, comes the cost as well. So if you want to have that kind of experience, and you want to think about it in advance and know how to manage your finances to suit that option, because most of them are usually more expensive than regular hotels. So of course, that's why I'm saying that you need to think of accommodation before you travel. What accommodation do you want to book? Do you want to go to, based on where you're going, of course, and then that would help you to make decisions, plan ahead, budget some money, whatnot. So yeah, think about your accommodation before you travel. Number 7 Number 7 is plan for food. Of course, you know you have to plan for feeding if you are going on holiday. This one ties into the last points that I made, which is accommodation. So if you are going to an Airbnb, then of course you want to think of, am I taking some foodstuffs? That's if you're allowed to take it into the country you're going. Of course, don't want to take some foodstuff because some of the things that you really like, they might not be selling it in the country that you're going. So you want to plan that in advance. And of course, if you're not staying in an Airbnb, you're staying in a hotel, do you want to book a hotel that has breakfast, lunch and dinner included with the accommodation, or do you want to explore the city and go to restaurants and eat out and stuff like that? So you have to consider all those kind of things when you're planning your holiday. Number 8, okay, is vaccines. I haven't had to get any vaccine done, but I felt like it was a point that is necessary to mention, and that is you have to think about if you need a vaccine for whatever country it is you're going. Things like mosquitoes or things like typhoid or stuff like that. But just research about it wherever it is you're going. It's not a popular thing for most of the European countries, so you probably don't need any vaccines for European countries. But I'm talking particularly when you're going to places like Africa. You probably need to check to see, okay, what kind of jabs do I need to get before going. So it's one thing to consider. Number 9, which is very important, is for you to tell your bank before you travel. It's probably geared towards people in the West. In Nigeria, if you were traveling, I don't know if you would necessarily have to tell your bank in Nigeria if you were traveling from Nigeria to Europe. I don't know. I didn't have to. My Nigerian bank cards are still working properly. But if I'm going from here back to Nigeria, I would have to let my bank know so that they don't think like some fraudulent activities that are going on. So you don't get stranded. And it's not just Nigeria. I'm saying Nigeria, of course, because that's where I'm from. But there's some other countries that are, that have high alert for fraudulent activities. And when you travel to those kind of countries and you use your bank cards, they get blocked. And you can imagine if you cannot sort that out in the next 24 hours and you become stranded, you cannot eat, you cannot buy stuff. So you don't want that to happen. It's just a point that I feel is necessary because I think my husband has had an issue like that sometime when his card was blocked or something. So I felt like it was necessary for me to add that as a point. Number 10 is for you to sort out your driving license and car hire in advance. Like when we went to Santorini, we had to drive. When we went to Spain, to Mallorca, we had to drive. But on those occasions, we had to check that the driving license that my husband had was valid and was valid for where we were going to, because some of the places, it's not the same laws that they have, it's not the same kind of driving licenses that they use, so you don't want to be stranded. And then sometimes you may have to apply for it and that might take a while, so you want to plan that in advance. You want to check that you have the right driving license or driving documents before you go to a country where you know that you're going to be driving. And then part B of that is then to book your car hire in advance. There's some places that you go to that the airport is quite far from the town and the bus services are few and far-fetched, if that English makes sense. And so you don't want to be stranded and trying to sort out car hire when you're just coming from a flight. So you want to try and sort that in advance so that once you get to the airport, once you've cleared immigration or whatnot, then your car is just waiting for you. And you just go and collect the keys, you drive, you put your stuff in and you drive off. And there are a lot of websites, there are a lot of online platforms where you can just search for whatever country it is you're going for car hire. Based on reviews, the ones that are good, and then you can just sort your cars out or your car out, and it's right there and waiting for you once you get to that country. So it's a good tip. That is only if you are considering driving in the country you're going to. Number 11, this story should have come earlier, but anyway, number 11 is to do your research on weather. So this is a very important point. Again, it might be basic, but I felt like it was necessary for me to mention it. And why I'm saying this is when you research on the weather of the country or the town or the cities you're going to, it helps you to make a decision. So there's some places that are so sweet to go to in winter, maybe like Austria or like Iceland or whatever, where you can do like snowboarding or it's so beautiful in the snow, whereas there's some other places that if you go in their winter, you're in for the rubbish time of your life. There are some places that are good to go to in summer, and there's some other places that when you go to in summer, even though it is hot, it's not very enjoyable. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You do your weather research, and that helps you to kind of like channel your holidays and plan properly. And again, it might be that when you say that weather of that place is not good, then you just change your routes and go somewhere else. You have saved yourself a horrible experience for a holiday. So yeah, do well to check the weather. Research on weather or wherever it is you're going before you go. And then number 12 is to do your research on the language that is spoken in the country where it is you're going. I'm not saying that you should go and do language lessons, though. You might not even have the time to learn the language. Of course not. But what I'm saying is that you need to know whether or not they speak English, and if you're ready to adapt, know if you need to download a particular text to speech app for translation, for something like that when you get there. Know whether you need to learn a few of their words, like if you were going to Paris, for instance, you need to learn oui, yes, merci, thank you, madame, monsieur. I sound ridiculous. Or if you were going to Spain, you need to learn si. Or if you're going to Italian, you know how to do Italiano, pizza, spaghetti, obrigado. I'm so sorry if you're from France or from Italy or from Spain. I'm sorry, I did not mean to murder your language. But guys, you get the picture of what I'm trying to say. Just do your research on the languages that are spoken, so nothing meets you by surprise. Okay, so if you're going to a place where they don't speak English, you already know, and you know how to adapt, basically. So yeah. And then my bonus tip is a very tiny tip though, but this is geared towards those people that actually work in a corporate, if you work in corporate organizations where you have to take specific leave days. This is geared towards you, and the tip is simply that if you don't already know, the tip is just that you should try and plan holidays around bank holidays and weekends. It gives you more days, whereas you don't have to take plenty days off of annual leave at once, and then you can then take more days later on in the year, if that makes sense. I felt like it was a tip. Now that I'm saying it and thinking about it, I'm not like, is it actually a tip? Is it a tip? We'll take it as tip, Jare. It's a tip. Good tip. Thank you. Anyway guys, I really do hope that all of the things that I've said in this video would be useful to you in one way or the other, and I hope that before you travel on holidays, these are the things that you'd start thinking of and putting in place before you actually travel. If you have any other tips that I haven't mentioned, be sure to leave them down below in the comment section, and if I think of any other thing, yeah, I'm gonna write them down on my notes and probably compile them for a separate video. So yeah, this is the first episode. Like I said, there are so many other things to come on this travel segment of my channel, so look forward to them in the coming weeks. And I hope this will help you, because now lockdown is already being lifted, so people are getting their hearts ready and ready to travel. So I hope that these points will be useful to you, especially if you're new to traveling on holidays and you just want to give it a go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you staying till the end. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Click the notification bell just so you know when a new video drops, and also share this video with your friends and family if you think it's going to be of help or if it's going to be useful to them. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you next week. But till then, stay safe, stay beautiful, stay winning, pretty much. I love you guys. I'll see you. Bye.